just the beginning. Okay. How are you? Good. I'm not properly dressed. I'm sorry. I could dress much easier and more comfortable. Yesterday I had a very interesting phone call with Giuseppe, who is a friend of mine. He was telling me how the Congress was going, and I was very, very much happy, very much interested, and very much proud to be here with you today, because we've been working on these few minutes together for not a very long time, but the right amount of time to try to create the best conditions to try to take a step forward. Probably my presentation will not be what you'd be expecting, won't be a very common one. I'm not here with the intention to be interesting rather than good in speaking. I prefer to be useful. I have been studying your community since I met Giuseppe and Roberto a few months ago, or now many months ago. And I've been expecting this moment to see what could happen in the future. So I will share with you a few suggestions and provocations. And as last night Giuseppe asked me, I want to start from a few years ago. When we are in 1999, I'm sitting with a few young monks in Bhutan. I decided to start from here because this has been one of my, probably the most important travel and journey of my life. I was traveling just by myself. At those times in Bhutan, there were a close number of people that could travel the country, 2,000, for the entire period of the solar year. You need to ask for it, you need to be accepted and welcome, and you need few specific permissions, and then you can go and travel, guided by a guide and with a driver. That was the time when I experienced this sentence that I started with. A few years later, actually a few months ago, this is what I felt in a very specific period of my life. Professionally speaking, personally speaking, from my point of view of a citizen of the planet, and then I went back to those lands. I've been traveling, the first time in Bhutan, I stayed there for 12 days. This time I left everything and I spent 58 days just by myself traveling in between along the Himalayas. I went to Mustan, Nepal, Ladakh, India, and then back to Bhutan. And this is what I felt. And this is the book that I wrote. I'm not here to sell the book, obviously, but the title of the book is A New Equilibrium. That could be also the title of this short speech that I will show you. And back again, 2014, I had the chance to meet His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. We spent a few minutes together. I've been studying the lives of the people that I choose as models for my life. Most of them, they were dead. Einstein, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela. Few were not. And I had the chance to meet His Holiness. Spending some minutes with him, I asked him if a sentence that I read on the social networks, on the social platforms, was really belonging to him. I mean, we keep reading sentences attributed to many of these people, but most of them are dead, let's say. In this case, he was there. He was alive. We found him. And then I asked him, His Holiness, is this your sentence one of yours? He said yes. And the sentence was, there are not human beings born under good stars or bad stars. Only human beings who know or do not know how to read the stars. Why am I starting from reading stars? Because as a member of an international community of philosophers, thinkers, artists, scientists, and economists. We've been focusing on what's really happening. We're not necessarily experts in the future, but when you have to travel, when you need to take a journey, wherever you go, you need to know how to move, where to go, because the map, as we know well, is not the territory. We have many maps in our hands, even fake ones. But what about the territory right now? And by territory, I don't mean just the planet. I'm talking about our organizations, our societies, our governments, our lands, our planet, our galaxy. We're going to travel also on other planets, at least it seems. And the future is not going to be what it used to be. And now the time has come for visionaries. Why? Because things are changing. Everything is going to change. This is supposed to be one of the very unique, or at least rare moments of humankind history. Because our history has been driven by epoch of changes. And in this community we ask ourselves, are we going to live in another epoch of changes, or this is going to be a change of epoch? Well, the answer we gave ourselves was, this is going to be one of the very rare change of epoch that humankind had to face until now. Why? Everything's going to change. I don't really know who you are, where you're working, what you exactly do, and which reason, for who. But let me tell you, we don't have much time, so stay with me. I don't want you to trust me. I just want you to put you in the best condition to travel your journey in the most proper way you can. Society is going to change, politics is going to change, economy is going to change, industries are going to change, finance is going to change, the world is going to change, and it's going to change extremely fastly, much faster than we think. And you're talking about artificial intelligence. You have been talking about it for 4 days now, okay? And you know well that we are going to face an exponential growth, an exponential speed, an exponential change. And the way humans work, from a neurological point of view, a biological point of view, organic point of view, is not exponential. We need times. And when there is a change of epochs, this change gives us the time to follow the change and to stay in the path. When the change is exponential, really exponential, when the change is a change of epoch, as human beings, we don't work in the proper way to stay at the speed. So the question is, are we going to risk anything? Are we going to face new opportunities? Obviously both. But what's your neurological approach when there is a huge change in your life? Another great meeting of my life was the knee of the Mahatma Gandhi, Tara Gandhi. She's more than 90 now. She was the daughter of the fourth son of the Mahatma Gandhi. And she grew up in the ashram in India with the Mahatma Gandhi for 14 years. She told me, my grandfather, Mahatma Gandhi, used to tell me, Tara, speed doesn't make a difference if we go in the wrong direction. Now the main question of this epoch, change of epoch, is, are we going to go in the right or wrong direction? And then what is right? What is wrong? Because if you go in the right direction, it's going to be a paradise for many generations. If we take the wrong direction, it's going to be a mess. Let me show you which kind of mess we are already facing. I know that you know, but when you listen, they start to appear a bit differently. We are facing an environmental crisis. That's obviously, you know much better than me. I'm sure you already looked at the paper, delivered and published by the World Economic Forum, telling what you know very well. Sorry. We are facing a health crisis. We already faced it, and I'm sure it's going to be back somehow because it's not this way. We are facing a geopolitical crisis. The number of wars on the planet is the highest number ever in humankind history right now. There are just very few countries who are not battling any war directly or indirectly. We are facing financial crisis. We think to be very rich and there is a prosperity on the planet, but actually it's not. Those are numbers. You know what is this number? I'm a financial guy. I've been working for a huge bank for 25 years. 23 actually. These are the numbers. It's bankruptcy, the proper name. We are facing a world crisis. Things are changing very fastly, and we don't know how exactly. I'm sure that in the next decades there will be plenty of new wars. But I'm also sure in the next decades there will be a lot of people without any job. We are facing generational crisis. It's the very first time of humankind history that there are so many different generations living in the same time. 4 different generations with different mindsets, neurological processes, way to behave, way to buy, way to consume, way to vote. 4 different perspectives living at the same time, in the same place together. We are facing educational crisis. It's very hard today to try to see what to teach. We are facing an information crisis. Do you really trust what you're reading? Do you really follow the mainstreams? Do you really? Can we look for a few seconds at some numbers? We are facing a perceptive crisis. Ipsos, one of the most interesting agencies in the world at the moment, every year they publish this pulse of perception research. This is the gap for few of our countries in between the perception of some events and the real data. How many immigrants just entered our country this year? Hey, millions, millions! There is a gap in between the real data and your perception. But when you go voting someone as a politician, you don't vote based on your information and data, but on your perceptions. Can you follow? This is the gap.